What up, everybody? This is your boy DJ Mixmaster, and welcome back to Genshin Impact. So, this video was originally supposed to go out yesterday, which was Friday. I started doing it, but because everything got jumbled up and everything, I decided to go ahead and scrap that. And unlike all my other videos, we're gonna do this one by a script, kinda. So I ended up uploading a video this past Monday, saying that, I had some ideas on just some things that could be, added or implemented, to Genshin Impact to make it better. Something that's kind of like a middle ground, something that isn't just going to be for just free to plays, all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, not something that's like only going to benefit the whale. Something kind of in the middle ground, something that will be good for free to play, something that will be good for whale, something that will be good for miHoYo, just something, that everyone can be happy with, And with that particular video, it didn't get the watch time, but it did get so many views that I think people would probably like, seeing Genshin Impact on my channel. So I decided, just like with my Overwatch videos, every once in a while, if I have a good match or something like that, I might want to share it. I think I might do that with Genshin Impact, just, playing casually, just upload a video every now and then of my Genshin gameplay. So look forward to that. I think that'll be fun. Anywho, we're going to go ahead and get started. And like I said, I have a few ideas, right? So we're here in Mondstadt. I just decided just to choose a random, city to go to, and so we're here. But my first, thing, idea I think that could be implemented might be a good idea. And this is just a pet peeve of mine, but it's like update the resin counter. Right now, I know in the past, I think I might have seen this in someone else's videos and all that kind of stuff, where the resin count used to be 120, and so it went up to 160. Raise that up again to 200. And for me, this is just more of a pet peeve. It's for me, like when I'm going to get gas for my car, if I get gas and it's like 32.64 or something like that, right? That bugs me. And most people will be like, you filled up your car with gas, that should be fine. No, it has to either end on the $0.50 or $1. So of course with that, I'm going to put in enough gas to get it to 33. That's just something, for me. I feel like raising it to 200, just a flat even number, makes it so much better, right? But enough with that. Woo! Another thing I think that could be easily implemented, something I recently have ended up coming into an issue, is I just barely have this issue. As you can see, I'm only 2 off from maxing out my artifacts. And I think the artifact count should be raised to 2,000. I feel like the artifact count should be the number of regions currently available or unlocked times, 500. So we just had the 3.0 patch. Sumeru has just been released to us. Increased the count to 2,000. I think that's just the simple little thing. For each region, you can have 500, artifacts. There's only, 2, maybe 3 artifact domains in each region. So having, a count of 500 per region, I think that just makes it all even and whatnot. But I just recently ended up, running into the issue multiple times now over the last, week now. Ever since Sumeru's release, you're out of inventory space, that's, annoying. And for me, someone who wants to build every character, and I'm doing character builds, like one, maybe two characters at a time. You know, I've just amassed a total amount of artifacts. Now, another thing involves the
How can I help you?
the condensed resin. Of course, condensed resin, basically when you use this in artifact domains, when you use this on the flowers for the ley lines, you basically just get double the rewards. It's like as if you did the flower or the artifact domain twice, right? I feel like there should be a second level for the condensed resin, like a super condensed resin or something like that, and have that be at, like, you know, like 5 count, while increasing just the regular condensed resin so that you can have 10. And the condensed resin, you can use it like you use normally, but I feel like using the super condensed resin, you can only use it one of two ways. The first way is by only, you know, a domain, you know, either artifact or talent or weapon ascension domain, where you can use it and it's like as if you did that artifact domain, you know, that domain 3 times. But the second way I think it can be used, I'm gonna wait for that one because there's an idea I have for domains that I think could prove to be very good, very useful. So we're gonna leave that for now. Another thing with the crafting table, add a dragon spine treasure compass, right? And I feel like if you know, either change the Mondstadt treasure compass to include dragon spine, or allow us to create a dragon spine treasure, you know, compass, because, you know, for Liwa, you can use that treasure compass not only, you know, in Liwa, but also in the underground for the chasm. And then of course for the Inazuman one, you can use that for Inazuma and you can use that for Indokanamiya, right? So why not either have a function for Mondstadt to allow it to be used on Dragon Spine? And if you want to consider Dragon Spine I'm supposed to be going to, oh yeah, I'm going the right way. Or, you know, if you consider Dragon Spine its own separate little region, separate entity, why not have a separate, you know, treasure compass, right? So that's another thing. Another thing I think that they could change is to increase the rewards from the daily commissions. You can, you know, they could increase the rewards from being 10 primos to 15. And then when you go turn in your commissions to Catherine, you know, increase that reward from 20 to 100. So overall, by just doing your dailies, you can at least make one pull. I think that's more than fair, right? You know, to just do one pull now, if you wanted to do that, I think you would have to wait. What the? I don't feel like dealing with you right now. You have to wait. Let's see, because that's what, 60? So you have to go through what, 3 days of commissions just to be able to
Our bond is strong.
just to get a single pull. I just feel like that should be a little fair, you know what I mean?
Let me weave you a vert. Nowhere to hide.
But by also, you know, you would think, you know, you would want people to pull, right? The rush of pulling and possibly getting, you know, that 4-star, 5-star you want, you know, the more opportunities you have to pull, the more, you know, you might want to maybe put money into if you wanted to, you know, being able to wish more. Just something that, you know, thought of, right? And then an idea to increase the number of weapons and weapon types, right?
Speed of light.
There are, you know, the full set for Mondstadt, right?
With sword comes down.
But you only have 4 of the 5 for Liwa, and then only 3
No, my sword.
for I'm not gonna worry about y'all. I think you only have 3, right, for Inazuma. Of course, I think for Inazuma and now Sumeru, you have the 4-star craftable weapons that you can get from a quest. But I was thinking, why not have a full set that represents the Archon, you know, 5-star weapon that represents the Archon in, you know, some shape or fashion, just like what you have for Mondstadt, have it for the other regions, and then you can have the 4-star craftables that pertain to the particular region of said Archon. Not only that, also having new weapon types, and I have 10 in particular. So you, instead of having just the 5, you can have a total of 15. I totally forgot which direction I needed to go to. There we go. You know, so I thought, you know, weapon types, you can have a weapon type that's the, you know, a dagger or kunai, and then having the difference being, you know, with that particular play style, you can do kind of like what Child does switching between his bow and his blades. Have it where you can use a kunai in hand, you know, slashing and whatnot, and then swap to a different mode where you can actually throw said kunai, right?
Spring forth.
So you can swap between, do you want to do short range or you want to do, you know, what, mid range, not long range, because, you know, that would be kind of cheap, and besides you have, you know, bow characters that can do long range, but, you know, something between short range and mid range, you can swap between, you know, you want to do melee combat or ranged combat. And then another type, I feel like you can do a dual sword, where, did I do 4? No, where you can have said character wielding 2 swords, and using not like using, you know, 2 swords like its own individual thing, but you can use 2 separate swords. Like, for example, you can have someone equip, let's say if Kaching was this style, right? You can have her equip, let's say, the Jade Cutter and the Black Sword, right? But you wouldn't get the full benefit of each sword on Kaching. You would have the stats and the effects cut in half, but you can use, you know, both abilities. Now, I don't know if, you know, every weapon could be compatible like that to work seamlessly, but, you know, I think that could be fun, because, you know, using 2 separate swords with 2 different abilities, if you could find different combos that could, you know, make it work and all that kind of stuff, then that could change, play styles, that could change team comps, stuff like that. Another weapon type, I feel like you can have like a lance, where the character uses a lot of thrusting techniques. Another weapon type is the twin blade, where it's kind of like a polearm, except for it's a actual blade on both ends. I feel like that could be a nice weapon. Another one, I feel, like a giant hammer or giant mace. Another one being, the scythe. You can have a weapon type, instead of having the bow, you can use like a slingshot, where you lob the element that you possess, right? Another type, I feel like you can add another type of shielder to the game, like someone who actually uses like a giant shield. And of course, I didn't even look, did I? By doing that, you can change some of the characters who I wasn't even paying attention, where they have a shield, maybe not make them as effective, or slightly changing it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, making their shields, kind of less effective, so that, if you wanted a shielder, they can have different ways to shield, actually give you a shield. Their shield, magically appears, it can block stuff like in front of you, different ways, right? Another weapon, I feel like you can use like gauntlets, where you can do like kachings or Eulas, or something like where you can use their elemental skill, which will infuse their weapon with an element, something like that. And then finally, I think using, I don't know what this would be called, but I feel like some kind of like summoning kind of summoning type of character, where like how Razor has this little wolf companion that pets him on the head. I think that's one of his idle animations. Why not actually make that a type of character where you're fighting alongside some kind of elemental or something like that? Maybe there's some different weapon types that others can use or whatnot. Y'all can leave your suggestions in the comments below. Heck, it might be a good idea, or something that I'm not thinking of.
Speed of light.
Could be something really good. But I feel like adding different weapons and different weapon types can truly change this game. Not only that, I feel like making changes to the current 5-star weapons, where the 5-star weapon is in particular to a particular 5-star, make it so that all of those 5 stars are kind of like generalized, so that any character
for work-life balance.
I hate that voice line so many times, because Kaching is my favorite character, and so I hear it all the time. But have it so that it's more generalized, and then you can add a new series of weapons. I think mythic series of weapons for each and every character, where you do something like the adventure rank domains or something like that, except for you doing it for a particular character, and by the end of it, it rewards you with with their mythic weapon, which is a weapon that, you know, can enhance their particular skills and abilities. Probably just one, not make it both, because obviously then, you know, you can't have interplay between weapons and whatnot. But, you know, like for example, Kaching, you can give her her mythic weapon where it enhances the capabilities of her burst. And, you know, some other characters, it may, you know, fully emphasize, you know, maybe their skill. I feel like that could be something that could really change, you know, gameplay. So another idea I had was just like
Rain outlines your fate. All right, my turn.
okay, it points to here, but what the heck? Oh, maybe I already checked it. Alright, got the key. Let's take it back. Banking off of that, you know, mythic, you know, kind of quest, domain kind of deal, why not have a domain where it's region specific, not region specific, but, you know, there's one in each region. So, you know, there's a domain in
Speed of light.
there's a domain, you know, in Mondstadt, one in Liyue, one in Inazuma, and one in Sumeru, where it works kind of like the Adventure Rake Ascensions, where you know, you face off against 3 challenges, you know, 3 bosses. Let's say the first boss, you end up facing off against just waves of enemies, like 3 waves of enemies from that particular region, right? You get through that, and then the second boss can be a random, you know, world boss from that particular region. Like, for example, we're doing the one in Mondstadt, and you get through the first challenge and you move on to the second one. It could be, you know, the cryo Regis Vine, the electro hypostasis, you know, just a random boss from that particular region. And then the third and final challenge, make it so that it's a boss battle like what you had with the huge Whopper flower, you know, something like that. And for that, it make it a unique boss to that particular region. And then if you can complete that domain, have it so that you're rewarded with a random 5-star weapon from that particular, you know, 5-star weapon from the standard banner. You know, so you can have, I think there's 10 weapons on the standard banner. You can add another 10, you know, 10 5-star weapons, and, you know, you would get a random 5-star weapon from the standard banner along with a random billet. Like that would be guaranteed. I feel like that could be really good because, like, right now with billets, unless, you know, you get them from shops and whatnot, you can only get them from the weekly bosses, and they feel like it's such a small % chance of getting them that, you know, for some people really like the craftable weapons, but it's kind of hard when you don't have the billets. So make that like a confirmed drop, you know, just a random 5-star weapon and a random billet. and have this domain, refresh, once a month, right? So that you can't just easily just access it and get, 5-star weapons and, billets. But at the same time, make it so that it's not one shot. So it's like, you can do that domain, get the, 5-star weapon and the billet once a month. And then you can do the domain up to 3 more times. And for the other 3 times, you could get a random 4-star weapon and maybe some other rewards. I can't think of what you could possibly use, right? But you can have it that way. That makes it so that you can actually get more 5 stars, possibly get lucky and get one you don't have, but also be a surefire way to get billets. Yeah, you're only going to get 1 a month, but for some people, they might not be that lucky. They might only get a billet like once every, few weeks to a couple of months or something like that. So, another thing I feel like that could be very useful, it almost seems kind of moot considering, what 3.0 did, but I still feel like it could be very useful. And that has to deal with the artifact domains. And so, remember, I did mention, with the condensed resin, having maybe another form called like the super condensed resin or, something like that.
Thank you for completing today's commissions.
This is what I was referring to. So, let's, I'm going to step out here and then let's pick a place at random. So, let's say you come here to the Valley of Remembrance. This is the Viridescent Werner and the Maiden's Beloved artifact domain, right? So this is what I was thinking. When you get to said domain, when you enter it, have like the screen before you choose who you're gonna, play for the domain. Have a screen before it saying, do you wish to make an offering, right? And then if you say yes, then there would be 3 slots. So if you say, yes, you want to, I don't think I can actually do it with this, but if you say yes, then, for the first slot, you can, offer up an artifact from that domain. So for the Viridescent Werner, that would be, the Viridescent Werner or the Maiden's Beloved. So let's say you wanted a piece from the Viridescent Werner set. You would sacrifice any piece. It didn't matter. The flower, the feather, the goblet, the sands, or the circlet. Just as long as it was a Viridescent Werner piece, right? And then the second slot, it would be it would be the actual artifact piece you want. Now for the second and third slots, you can choose whatever artifact you wanted. So for example, let me see if I can find one. Here we go. Let's say I was like, I'll give up, this Viridescent piece. And then let's say I actually wanted a sands, right? I would offer up, any sands. So I could offer this up, right? Now it's a goblet. I offer this up. So I'm offering up a Viridescent Werner piece, and then this Echoes of an Offering piece. And then for the third slot, you can offer up any piece that has the particular main stat you wanted. So let's say, I was building, let's say a recent character that just came out, at least for me, Kazuha. So let's say I wanted an elemental mastery, Sans. I would offer up a Verdicent Werner piece to show that that's the set I want. I would offer up, any kind of Sans to show I want a Verdicent piece Sans artifact. And then I said elemental mastery. So, I would have any piece, that had elemental mastery on it. I know y'all get it, but but essentially, elemental mastery. So by having those three pieces, and then when you complete the domain and you offer up that super condensed resin, you would get the same results as if you used just regular condensed resin. You would get a number of artifacts, like as if you did 2, but one of those would be the guaranteed piece that you offered up, right? So it would be a Verdesser Elemental Mastery Sans piece. It works like on the same principle of the strong boxes. You offer up 3 separate artifacts, you get the one that you want. Now it wouldn't be with the substats you wanted. It would still be random, but at least you would have a onset main stat piece, artifact piece from the set that you want, and you could at least build off of that until you manage to get a piece that you really like and really want. And a lot of people say, I've been hearing, some people with artifacts make it so that you can re-roll substats, but I feel like if you do it this way, a combination of like the strong box with the artifact domain, it's only a matter of time before you manage to get a piece that has, the substats you want. If you're for sure getting an onset, particular piece where it's guaranteed. So that's just my idea. I don't know if there could be any change to it or anything like that, but I think that's at least a good starting point. And then I have 3 other things that I think we'll talk about today, and they all reside in Liyue. So the first one is, I forget where it is now that I think about it. Oh, no. Yeah, I remember. Here in Chile Slope. I'm probably butchered the hell out of that, but for those, I'm pretty sure you probably done it, but this was like a secret quest or something like that, where you had to make an offering to each of these geo pillars, and I think you got the particular offerings when you upgraded the statues of the 7 from Liyue. And so, of course, there's a chamber here that gets unlocked once you make the offering to each of the pillars around here. So an idea I had was, I think that quest was kind of cool, and then having this little area opened up, I think was cool. But of course, you only come through here only for that quest, and that's it, right? So I was thinking, why not change it so that, let's say for example, you came down here, and let's say there were 3 pillars, here, one here, one here, and one here, where it would be kind of like a mini, mini kind of like what is it called? What is it called? Spiral. There we go. I had to think of it for a moment. A mini spiral abyss, right? So you can have one pillar where it's like the easy challenge, one that's like a medium challenge, and then one's the hard challenge, right? So you would have it so that, you know, activate a particular pillar, and for the easy one, it'd be a wave of like three waves of enemies, where the last wave, let's say, was just like
a deserted moonlit night.
I wish there was a way to turn these off sometimes, but where the final enemy could be the large helitril, large helitrils, the elemental ones, you know, one, you know, electro, one geo, one cryo, where you face off against all three of them at the same time. And then the medium one, it's 5 waves, where the final boss is a random world boss. So it could be, you know, the Primo Gisavat, the Pyro Regisvine, Cryo Regisvine, the Pyro Hypostasis, you know, just a random world boss. And then for the hard one, you can have it where it's 7 waves, and then the final boss is 2 world bosses. And then upon completing the challenge, you know, there would be 3 chests that would appear. Here, you know, here, and here. So for the easy one, you would get 3 common chests. For the medium one, you would get 3 of the next level chests. And then for the hard one, you would get 3 of the chest level higher than that. And then you can have a bonus chest that pops up here in this room if you manage to do the challenge with only not losing anyone throughout the whole entire battle, but also not using any buffs, you know, food buffs or, you know, elemental buffs or anything like that, you know, when it comes to food or stuff you can do from the menu. So I feel like, you know, and then have that where it's done, you know, once a week. You can do each challenge and complete it, you know, once a week. You can get rewards from the chests and everything like that. And I feel like that could incentivize, you know, people to, you know, do something like that. But also, it would make this whole area, you know, more not accessible. I don't know what to say, but, you know, it would be used more frequently. And that's the same thing for the next place we're going to go to, which is near Chinsa. That little cave or vault where you face off against the ruin guards and everything. I feel like that's also a cool place. But, you know, other than that one quest, you'd never come back there again. And I feel like making a challenge for that one to get people to come back, I feel like that should also be something. So of course, it's to the right of these treasure hoarders. Pass this vines and this waterfall. And I feel like this area could be used again, you know, because it looks so cool. But you only come here, just like at the slope, you only come here once for that quest, and then you probably never come again. You might do farming or stuff like that at the slope, but there's nothing here for this location. At least I don't think there is. So you can have this area where it's like a survival mode. You know, come and activate this, right? So you could do this challenge, but if I'm not mistaken, I think you only get rewards from it once. So why not make this a repeatable little event thing where it's like a survival challenge? You start with the ruin guards, let's say at level 50, right? So I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was like one ruin guard and then like two ruin guards, and then what is it? The flying one. I forget what the name of that one is. Right? Make it so that you go through a rotation of ruin guards. So let's say the first one you go and face off against one ruin guard, and then the second one you do two ruin guards, and then the third one you do that flying ruin guard, the one with the spike, and then the fourth one you face off against one ruin guard and then one flying guard, right? And then the fifth one, let's say you face off against the ruin grader. Or you could probably change it up, because now we have two new ruin guard type enemies. What is it? That little dragon and then the flying dragon or whatever. You could do that. First one is the ruin guard. Second one is that flying ruin guard with the spike. The third, you face off against let's say the land dragon. The fourth one, you could do it against the flying dragon, and then the fifth one, you could do it against a ruin guarder. I think those are the huge ones, I think, right? And then just do a cycle like that, where each cycle, or every 5 floors, you increase the level of the enemies you face by 5, right? And then you could do this challenge up to 3 times. We'll say 3 times in a week, right? And your best result, that's the type of rewards you get. So you can have different tiers of rewards by reaching certain floors, right? A little survival thing where you're locked out of using any kind of healing and stuff like that. It's only going to be your skill and your skill with the 4, characters you decide to bring to said challenge. I feel like that could be something good. Not only will this give this area, purpose, but also, rewards and stuff like that that will challenge your team building skills, along with your understanding of said enemies and whatnot. And then there's one other place I feel like that could be of use, or should see use, and that is here at the tree for Ajdaha. And it's not Ajdaha himself, it's the tree. I think it's called, if I'm not mistaken, I think they said Dragon Queller or something like that. This particular tree that seals Ajdaha, I feel like you can, other than coming here for Ajdaha, maybe you could come to the tree, and let's say there's, bowls and incense and stuff like here. You could come here to make sacrifices. Not sacrifices, but offerings. There we go. Offerings. Where you can offer up different items, stones, food, and all that kind of stuff, and gives you slight buffs or slight increases to separate weapon types and to the separate elements, so that you can have a small passive buff, to characters. And so those are just some of my ideas, some things that I think that if miHoYo were to add them, would could possibly make the game, better overall. And I think I ended up making suggestions that is a middle ground for everyone that can make everyone happy. So with that, I believe this is a good place to take a break. Like and leave comments, if you want to ask me questions and all that kind of stuff. If you would like to know certain things, about me in particular, about some things, not about the game and whatnot, because I will be the first to tell you I'm not that knowledgeable when it comes to stuff. I don't, have damage calculations and all that kind of stuff. But
strong.
I don't mind, you know, at least answering questions that, you know, if I think I may know something or anything like that, I'm not for sure, you know. But, you know, go ahead and leave comments if you know, if you have some ideas, you know, maybe someone from miHoYo or maybe one of the big time, you know, YouTubers or Twitch streamers or something like that. I mean, I'm only doing this on YouTube, but you know what I'm saying. Someone might be able to see it, you know, might be able to piggyback, might be able to add some suggestions or anything like that. You know, just try to get this video out there because, you know, maybe it might be something that miHoYo can think about. So, like I said, like and comment on the video, subscribe for more gameplay, and with that, see ya. Peace.